Hey everyone, so this is Coach T. I am coming to you for your Wellness Wednesday. I'm going to be doing two product highlights at the end, so stay tuned. So, this week's topic is going to be about eliminating salts and sugars. Very, very important when it comes to improving your overall health. By eliminating just those two things could be very, very important. So, some things that salts and sugars can actually do to the body, unfortunately, in high doses of sugar that you're consuming, they can cause an insulin spike, which we all know can lead to diabetes. It can also lead to obesity because sugars eventually turn into fat as well. So that's some things that sugars can do. As far as salt is concerned, that can increase water gain in your body. It can also spike up like high blood pressure, which we all know can lead down the other road of heart attack or even stroke, unfortunately. If you are already diagnosed with high blood pressure from your physician, a recommended dose daily for salt intake is actually only 3/4 of a teaspoon, which is going to be very hard to stay intact as far as throughout the day. And if you are not already considered having high blood pressure, they recommend having 1 teaspoon of salt a day. When it comes to sugars, the American Heart Association actually recommends women to stay within 26 grams, or excuse me, 24 grams of sugar for ladies, and 36 grams of sugar a day for the men. So, very, very important. That's why the coaches and I encourage all you guys to meal prep. It's easier when you're doing that. You're not buying processed foods. When you stay clear of restaurant foods, you don't know what kind of seasonings or salts, things like that, that they're putting in the food. So it's very, very important when you are trying to eliminate these two things from your diet to meal prep. So that is just some things as far as salt is concerned. What I want to talk to you next about is paying attention to labels when it comes to things like this. Companies are very, very clever when it comes to um, trying to make their products look a lot more healthier. So there's an organic soup company that I'm not going to name. They have in just a half a cup of their minestrone soup 580 milligrams of sodium. Now, if you're like me, you're not going to eat just a half a cup of soup. You're going to eat the whole can of soup. So make your own soup. You know what's going inside of it. It's a lot more fresh. And then also, there's another company that I'm not going to name who has a low fat yogurt. And if you look at the serving size in that yogurt versus a cup of ice cream, the yogurt actually has more sugar than the cup of ice cream. So very, very important. I personally tell my clients to, when it comes to sugars, to try and keep it from 6 grams and below. I also am not perfect, so I like yogurts that have fruit already inside of them. That is considered added sugar, so please pay attention to the labels. It is always, always better to do the plain Greek yogurts, add your own fresh fruits, raw honey, anything like that, to where you can make it not over your daily amount, because that's not just the only thing you'll be eating throughout the day. But some of my other things, like I said earlier, were going to be product highlights. So my first one is going to be the herbal aloe concentrate. So with the aloe, has quite a few different benefits, but it is part of our digestive health line. Its main purpose is to help the intestinal area, so help soothe any inflammation throughout the intestinal area. It also helps with absorption in that same area when it comes to nutrients. A lot of times, men and women, but mostly women, they'll say, "Oh, I feel bloated. My stomach's kind of pooching out a little bit." That could be from your intestines being inflamed. So the aloe also helps with any inflammation that the body may have, but also in that particular area as well. I give it to my daughter. She sometimes has issues using the restroom. So at least I know if she's drinking that, it's going to help soothe her intestines. Okay. And then a tip for the aloe, which I tell people, it makes your tea taste sweeter. Me personally, I don't like the tea if it doesn't have aloe in it. So, if you are like me, make sure you're getting your aloe. There's so many different flavors. That one's mandarin, um, but it will enhance the taste of the tea. Okay. And then my next one, which is one of my faves that I'm on right now, is Prolessa Duo. So the Duo is because the product is a hunger suppressant and also a fat burner. So it is going to help um, reduce the fat in your visceral fat in the midsection, so in your tummy. So if you're trying to get the little tight waist for summertime or just period, trying to lose the body fat, the visceral fat inside the tummy area, Prolessa Duo is also good. And for those that have like craving problems, or if you know you're going to be out for long periods of time, Prolessa can help suppress that hunger feeling for you. And that will go inside the shake. So they do recommend you make your shake first, then add it in. If you're like me, I take it as a shot. So I put cinnamon in mine with water and I take it as a shot, but you can get with your coach because I'm sure they take them differently as well. But some good things about Prolessa Duo, it's only 70 calories and it only has 1 gram of sugar in it. So that's not a lot after just talking about the sugar intake. Um, like I said, it does help with the visceral fat. So visceral fat is a deep fat that kind of wraps around inside your organs. Regardless if you have a um, physical like tummy that you can see, this fat you can't always see. And there's doctors that call it TOFI, which stands for thin on the outside, fat on the inside. So even if they may look thin, they still can have a problem with visceral fats. Okay. It is not recommended for someone that is breastfeeding or is pregnant. So if you are one of those two or doing one of those two, please give it your coach because the second you are free to go, that is something I highly suggest for the ladies. Um, and yeah, so those are my two product highlights. Those are my wellness tips for you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot them into the chat or to your coach. We are definitely here to support you guys through this journey no matter what. We have one more week left. Let's turn it up and let's get active.